Alrighty, welcome to the 5x5 mega comparison. There's only 6 cubes. I know it's not that gigantic of a comparison, but for some, 6 5x5s would be a lot. So let's go over the structure of this video and the lineup that we have today. Now what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to go through each cube, talk about each one. I've lubed each cube, I've broken it in a little bit, I felt what I felt, and we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to show you guys a solve on each cube. Now I'm not the fastest. I average about 2 minutes on the 5x5, so the solve portion I'm going to leave a time code so that you guys can skip through that if you don't want to watch that. Now we have the MGC by YJ, X-Man Hong 5x5, Valk 5, DaYan 562, MoYu AoChuang, and the DaYan NeZha 5x5. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyways, they're all magnetic. They range from $20 to $70 depending on where you get them from. And we're going to figure out which ones are the best and which ones are not the best. So I'm going to start here with the YJ MJC. Now this puzzle is about $20, give or take a few bucks, depending on where you get it from. And for a $20 5x5, I would say it's pretty good. This line of puzzles, the MGC line, is very, very well known as the best budget line. And you know, when you pick up this cube, you can tell why. For a $20 5x5 these days, this is pretty solid. The magnet strength, I would say, is about medium. Occasional lockups. Corner cutting is what you'd expect from a budget 5x5. And for the price, the performance to the price is pretty good. That's all I really about. Performance to price is pretty good, given today's standards. And if you're in the realm for a budget cube, I would say this is definitely one that you could definitely get your hands on and be happy with. Next, we have the X-Man Hong. This cube is a very, very good 5x5. It's a little bit smaller, so I don't know if you can tell there, but it's actually about a millimeter smaller. You can definitely feel the difference when you're solving. If you pick up, this cube right after you've solved the regular size 5x5, you can definitely feel the difference. That millimeter does actually matter, but this cube is nice. It turns very well. It's got a little bit of resistance to it, which some of us might like. I definitely prefer it because my turning style is so aggressive. If I don't have a bit of resistance, sometimes I tend to overshoot or something. This cube was my main for about 2 weeks. By the time I got it, I ended up switching again, and we'll get into that later when we get to that cube. But there's not much to say about it other than it's good. It's very good. It's about $50. And it's definitely worth the price in my opinion. I love this cube. This is definitely my backup main, I would say. And the only thing that I don't necessarily like the most about it is if you were to compare like the colors. As you can see, it's not quite a full bright. They're a little bit darker. I'd say about a half bright. So if you really like full bright, you might not like the Hong. But if you can get over the colors, this cube is very, very good. It's probably, I would say, top tier for sure. Definitely a top tier 5x5, and I think that you'd very much enjoy it. Next, we're going to talk about the Valk 5M. This puzzle, the things I have to say about this puzzle, I love this cube, and the only problem I have with it is sometimes I get a little bit locky with it. It doesn't necessarily handle my aggressive turning style so great, which makes me quite sad because there's something about the way it feels. It's like buttery smooth, but with resistance, if that makes sense. And I love the way it feels and the way it sounds. Maybe you can kind of tell what I'm talking about just off how it sounds. But I really like it, and it makes me sad that it locks up with my aggressive turning style sometimes, because I really do enjoy the puzzle, and I enjoy the way that it feels. And this is another $50 puzzle, so it might not quite be the performance to dollars as the Hong, but it's definitely up there, and nice cube. Next, we have the DaYan 562M 5x5. This 5x5 has revolutionized 5x5. This is one where if you get this and you've been kind of stale with 5x5, this cube will make you want to practice 5x5 again. It is very light. It turns very nicely. It's not too loud. Magnet strength is I would say medium strong on the inners, and then probably I would say soft to medium on the outer layers. But it turns so nice. I rarely lock up with this cube given my aggressive style. It handles my aggressive turning style quite well, and I can't say enough good things about this puzzle. This is probably the best 5x5 on the market. The only problem with it is that the price point, at least for this one, which is UV coated, it's about $70, which is absolutely ludicrous for a 5x5. But if you're really into 5x5 and it's your favorite puzzle, say 5x5 is your favorite cube, it'd be worth getting this, I would say, for sure. But if 5x5 is not your favorite cube, or it's not something you're super interested in, maybe not spend $70 on it. And the version that's not UV coated is only like $10 cheaper, so it's still, even for the matte finish, it's like $60. So it's, if you really like 5x5, get it. If you really don't like 5x5, or you're kind of on the fence about 5x5, I would not purchase this cube. But if you're really into 5x5 or a DaYan fan or whatever, and you get it, you're not going to regret it, that's for sure. And I really like the bright colors on this. Like if you looked at, oh, let's see, this DaYan one, it's like semi-bright. You see the difference? Like it's a tad dark, like the green's a tad darker, but it looks brighter. At least to me it does. The orange, tad darker, but looks brighter. I don't know, there's just something about the colors on this cube that I really, really like. And so that's also a thing. I guess we'll move on to the DaYan cube next. This cube is disappointing, and I will say because it feels so cheap for, I think it's about $40, and it feels so cheap, which makes me really sad because you can probably hear it too when I turn. It feels cheap, it feels really light. It's just not what you'd want in a 5x5. It's not bad. It locks up a bit, and with my aggressive turning style, when it does lock up, it makes me feel like I'm gonna like tear a piece. Like that corner stock, if you can see there, is not very thick, and it feels very flexible, and I don't like that. I always, when it locks up, I feel like I'm gonna snap a piece, and that makes me scared. But it does turn nicely. I will give it that. It turns great. Just not quite what I want for my turning style. But price to performance is terrible, because this is about a $50 cube, and for the performance that I get from it, it is not worth the $50 that you'd spend on this. I think it's currently, at the time of this upload, on sale at SpeedCubeShop for like $30, but it's not. I don't even know if I would say it's worth $30. Like the MGC here is $10 cheaper than that, and it's better than this cube. Like this was kind of just a flop for a 5x5, I think. It does have like a typical DaYan feel, I will give it that, but it feels like a flop. The magnets are, these are the regular strength magnets. I think it does come in strong magnets, not quite sure on that, but yeah, this cube was a bit of a disappointment, but it's not bad. Just not worth the money that you'd pay for it. Next, and finally, we have the MoYu AoChuang 5x5. Now this 5x5 is in the WRM series, and it's pretty good. It feels just like a WRM feel. It has like that weird matte finish that all the WRM cubes have on it that you kind of have to wear off just by solving it a bunch of times. And although it feels very different from, let's say, the Hong or the DaYan, which are probably the top two 5x5s, I feel like it could definitely still compete with them. I really enjoy it. I did a bunch of solves on this today, and it didn't slow me down being a different cube or anything than what I'm used to. I like it. It's not quite S tier anymore because of these two, but it still holds its own, I think. And like I said, if you are a fan of the WRM puzzles, or you just like the way that they feel, you'll probably like this 5x5. Magnet strength, quite strong in the inner layers. Probably medium to strong on the outer layers, so that's different than some of the other ones. So if you really like the magnet feel and you like the stronger magnets, this cube might be a good go for you. This, I think, is about $40, so it's still up there. But most of them are up there. I think like the cheap, if we go by price, right, you have 20, like 40, 50, 50, 40, 70. So like you'd organize it like this, from cheapest to most expensive. So it sits kind of right there in the middle, and I still think it can hold its own against the Hong and the DaYan. Just kind of depends on what you like, really. But anyways, if I had to rank these from 6 being the worst and 1 being the best, I'm going to put DaYan at 6. I'm sorry, DaYan, but this was kind of a flop for a 5x5. Then I'm going to put the MGC. It's a good cube. It's great for its price performance. If we were doing this based off of price performance, it would definitely be like, it'd be like 2 or maybe even 1. And then I'm going to put the Valk, and then I'm going to put the AoChuang, then the Hong, then the DaYan. That was the order. That would be the order that I would rank these in, completely based off of performance and how it performs in my turning style. Now, if I just split these into 3s, these would be your top 3 cubes, I think. I think each one of these has something different to offer. Each type of turning style, each type of solver. You know, this one's light, airy, turns very well, great corner cutting, definitely like top of the line. But if you're not trying to spend that much money, Hong would be a good one. A little bit smaller, so if you like smaller cubes, this will be for you. It's got like that, but it's got like a buttery smooth turn with a teeny bit of resistance. Decent corner cutting, I would say, for a 5x5 for sure. And then the next one, you know, you have the AoChuang here. If you like the MoYu feel, you like the WRM feel, you like something that's smooth but also a teeny bit clunky, this is for you. So that's how I would rank them. That's what I have to say about them. Next, let's get into some solves, and then we can wrap it up from there.
Eight seconds. 8 seconds. Eight seconds.
Alright, so now that you've seen the solves, you've heard my ranking, it's time to decide which one you want to get. Feel free to roast my solves in the comments, and let me know which 5x5 is your main in the comments. Mine is, if you couldn't tell, the DaYan 5x5. Yeah, let me know what your main in the comments. Again, roast my solves if you want to. That's completely fine, or tell me some things I need to work on. I think I have some ideas. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.